So we start with chapter 1, the economic problem. When talking about economic problem, we're talking about the problem faced by each economy, the problem faced by any country. And the only economic problem is scarcity. Yes, so let's go down and see. The problem of scarcity, finite resources. All these countries have resources such as water, mineral soil, plants, and animals and people. However, in any country, there's finite quantity of these resources, which means that the quantity available is limited, and there is only a limited quantity. Economists say that resources are scarce. These resources are often referred to as the 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, enterprise. So when we talk about finite resources, what we're saying is that they are limited. They are limited in supply. So we call them finite because finite means limited. We don't have so much. So these things that we don't have so much are called the economic resources, which are the factors of production. They are land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So when I talk about economic resources, we are talking about factors of production. They are the things that are scarce. Yes. You get the point there? So that is about finite resources. Finite resources are land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So we go to unlimited ones or infinite ones. Economics distinguish between needs and wants. Needs are the basic requirements for human survival. Some of these needs are physical and include water, food, warmth, shelter, and clothing. If these needs cannot be satisfied, eventually humans would cease to exist. In some countries in the world, people do die because such needs cannot be met. There's a difference between needs and wants. When we talk about needs, these are things our living depends on. Without these things, we cannot survive. That's why we call them needs. I think the point is clear. In addition to basic needs, humans also have other desires. These are called wants, and they may include more holidays abroad, a better house, luxury. Thank you. So we call them wants because we desire for them, and they are unlimited. So every now and then, we continue to desire until we are dead. So the only time we stop desiring is when we are dead. So these things, no matter what we get right now, we want the latest the next time. There's iPhone 14 now. If there's iPhone 15, you that have bought iPhone 14 would want to buy iPhone 15. That is what we call desire, and it is called wants. I think it's clear. Yes. Needs are things our living depends on. Wants are what we desire. So they are not, it's only when we have the money that we buy them. So they are discretionary.
The wants is finite resources.
Infinite.
Infinite.
Yeah, unlimited.
Yes, unlimited. Unlimited is wants.
Yeah, which is infinite.
The need is
needs limited. Needs. Yes. Do you understand? They are our needs are part of what we desire, but we cannot always have them. That's why we call them needs. So they are scarce, but for the fact that our living, how to survive, how to exist, depends on them, we call them needs. But whatever we need economic resources to provide both the needs and the wants. You get it? So there's nothing we want to produce or provide without the factors of production, which are economic resources. Clear?
Yes.
Move down. The economic problem. All countries have to deal with what economists call the basic economic problem. The problem is summarized here. This occurs because the world's resources are scarce or finite, and people's wants are infinite. The number of resources is greater than their supply. As a result, decisions have to be made about how to allocate a nation's scarce resources between different uses. This is all the study of economics is all about. So it's about allocation of resources. These resources are not always enough. As a result, it is important for the economy to be able to use them to the best of its ability. So whatever we have to use them to our best, because we cannot afford to waste them. So that is why we have allocation of resources. Do you understand that? Yes. So the basic economic problem is about the economic resources, which are factors of production. So these factors of production, they are things we have to solve. They are problems that we have to solve. How do we solve them? We solve them through allocation of resources. And for us to allocate resources, there's what we call the economic questions or economic problem. What to produce, how to produce, for whom to produce. Are you with me?
Yes.
We have this basic economic problem, which are economic questions, because we want to allocate resources. And when we talk about allocating resources, it means putting them in the right place, in the right position, at the right time. Right place at the right time. That is allocation. Clear?
Yes.
So go to what to produce. What to produce? Because it is impossible to produce all the goods that people want. A country must decide which goods will be produced. For example, should resources be used to provide more libraries, build more schools, expand the armed forces, make more cars, build more houses, construct more roads, make more toys, print more books, increase state pensions, or train more doctors? The question about what to produce, or the problem about what to produce, is that resources are not enough. So we have to decide on the type of goods we can produce presently. So that is what to produce, the type of goods that the economy has to produce. Do you understand?
Yes.
Why do we have this question? We have this question because resources are scarce. So when you don't have so much, the next thing that comes to your mind is, what can I do? So what can I do is what to produce. Is what to produce clear?
Yes.
How to produce. Now that decisions have been made about what you want to produce, the next thing is, how do you want the process of producing it? Oh, we want to produce phones. That is what allocation is about. We want to produce phone. How are we going to be able to produce this phone? Are we going to bring them from China, or excuse me? Are we going to bring them from China, or we're going to produce them here? So that is how the process of production. This is what we want to produce. How do we produce it? The process which we have to produce. That is how to produce. Is it clear?
Yes.
Then, for whom to produce? We're talking about the people who will be beneficiary of what we have to produce. Whatever we produce now is not going to be for everybody. Yes or no?
Yes.
No matter what we produce, it cannot reach everybody. That means we have to produce for a specific group of people. So that is for whom to produce. Who are those that need what we are producing right now?
Yes.
Is it clear?
Yes.
What to produce is the type of production. How to produce is the process of the production. For whom to produce is, who are we producing to? Is it clear?
Yes.
So we go to opportunity cost. Are you there?
Yes.
Because there's scarcity, it means we have to make choices. Because of what? There's scarcity, it means people have to make choices. So one of the choices we have to make, we would have made that choice because there are a lot of things that we want to get. So I'm going to choose A instead of B. I'm going to choose B instead of C. I'm going to choose C instead of D. This is what brings about opportunity cost. So opportunity cost is the cost of the next best alternative for God. Do you get it? So that means it becomes a cost for us because we couldn't choose it. So we lost that because we have chosen something else. Is it clear?
Yes.
So whichever approach is used to solve the basic economic problem, all decision makers are faced with choices. All decision makers are faced with choices. Resources often have a number of alternative uses. As a result, you have to make a choice about which way to use them. Individuals, producers, and government faces this choice. So, like I said earlier, resources are not enough. That means whatever decisions we take, we took that decision because it's a choice that we made. Do you understand? So we wouldn't take that decision if it's not our choice. We made a choice. So why do we make a choice? We make a choice because there are other alternative uses. So we're going to make a choice called based on our scale of preference. And when we talk about scale of preference, we're talking about the arrangement of our wants according to how important they are. The arrangement of our wants according to how important. That is how we make our choice. Clear?
Yes.
Good. So for individuals, what are the choices they make? Individuals have to choose how to spend their limited budgets. So the money available to us is not going to be enough. So we have to choose how to spend the money. Clear? For producers, they may have to choose between spending $100,000 on £100,000 on advertising, training, or training its workforce or buying a new machine. So here, for producers, they're not the same as consumers. Consumers want to spend. Producers, they want to invest, they want to advertise, they want to buy equipment. So they have to make a choice because they cannot do the three things at the same time. So they have to make a choice on what to do with that 100,000. So should we advertise with 100,000? Should we employ more workers with 100,000? Or train more workers with 100,000? Or buy new equipment? So it's a decision that the business have to take. So whatever way it is, there has to be a question about how to allocate resources for businesses. Clear?
Yes.
And the last one is government. For government, they render services to the people, to the public. So government has to decide on what to do in terms of expenditure. Should we build a hospital? Should we invest on education? Should we spend on health? Should we spend on infrastructure? What should we spend on? That is government. It's clear. Is it clear?
Yes.
So government have to make a choice regarding what to do. Individuals have to make a choice. Firms, businesses, they also have to make a choice. And when they make that choice, the choice they made is the real cost. The next best alternative for gone is the opportunity cost. Is it clear?
Yes.
Any questions about that? So go to PPC. So there's no way we want to talk about opportunity cost without linking it to production possibility curve. So when we talk about production possibility curve, we're talking about a graph that shows the combination of two goods that can be produced if all resources are fully utilized. The combination of two goods that can be produced in an economy if all resources are fully employed. That is what we call production possibility frontier or production possibility curve. Is it clear?
Yes.
So here we have a case study. We have a figure below. Just go down to the figure 1.6. Are you there?
Yes.
So this is why we call it a PPC. Either you produce consumer goods, more of consumer goods, less of capital goods, or less of capital goods, or more of capital goods, less of consumer goods. So I'm going to explain each point for you. At point A, you say point A, 16 million of, here in point A, it means 60 million of consumer goods. At 60 million of consumer goods, zero of capital goods. Clear?
Yes.
Point B, 14 million of consumer goods, I think.
Yes. 4 million.
4 million of capital goods. That's the combined resources there. At point C, 8 million of consumer goods. Are you there?
Yes.
And maybe 7 million. Yeah, 7 million of capital goods. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay. Point E, it is unattainable. Yes, you cannot reach point E. Clear?
Because it's not in that graph.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
unattainable. There's no resources to reach that point. Point F, it means the resources, the economy is not reaching its full potential. Point F means that the economy is not reaching its full potential. It means it can only produce 8 here and 4 here. Do you understand? Any question about it? Are you sure? Which one?
The F and E.
F and E, okay.
Yes.
Okay. At point F, we have 4 million capital goods, 8 million consumer goods, but they are still left behind, they are still left above, they are still left beside.
Yes.
4 million, you can still reach 8 million. From 8 million, you can still reach 16 million. Yes or no?
Yes.
So that means the economy is not reaching its full potential. Resources are not fully employed. That is point F. It's inside the PPC.
Yes.
Is it clear? Point E, there's no resources to attain that output.
Outside from the.
It's out of the PPC. So it means there's no resources to attain it. Is it clear now? So what happens when an economy moves from one point on the PPC to another? For example, what happens in the economy? Okay, they said from B to C, moving along the PPC, an opportunity cost is incurred at point B. So I'm just going to explain this. If at point B, moving from A to B means, moving from A to B means we produce less of consumer goods to produce more of capital goods. So the opportunity cost is the consumer goods that will reduce. So for every PPC, there's going to be what we call a sacrifice. So for you to produce one to the fullest, you have to produce less for the other one. Is it clear?
Yes.
So that is about the movement. So movement along the PPC curve means that there's going to be increase in one output and reduction in the second output. That is the movement.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes.
So we go to causes of positive and negative economic growth. Are you there?
Yes.
So when we talk about economic growth, we're talking about increase in the country's GDP. That's economic growth. Increase in the country's output. And if your output is increasing, because your PPC measures your GDP. The GDP is what the output of a country. So with PPC, it links to the monetary value of your PPC is our GDP. Clear? Is it clear, please?
Yes.
So say at a particular point in time, a country cannot produce combinations of goods that lie to the right of the PPC. However, over a long period of time, an economy would expect to raise the production of all goods. This is called economic growth. So economic growth means output is increasing. Clear?
Yes.
So what are the reasons why output of an economy can increase? Number one, new technology. As time passes, new technology is developed and this benefits businesses. For example, new machines such as robots, computers, telecommunications, and the internet have been used by businesses to help increase productive potential. New technology is usually faster and more reliable in production, and therefore more output can be produced. Increase in output. One of the reasons why we could have economic growth is through technology. And when we talk about technology, we're talking about advancement in technology. With advancement in technology, improvement in technology, things will be done better, faster. So that will increase output immediately, automatically. Is it clear?
Yes.
Improved efficiency. For efficiency, we're talking about a better way of doing things by reducing waste and improving quality. Reducing waste and improving quality. That is efficiency. It can also bring about economic growth. So they said they wrote, over time, resources are used more efficiently. New production methods such as casing and lean production, for example, have been developed and adopted. These more efficient methods replace the old ones and more output can be produced with fewer resources. When we talk about efficiency, efficiency measures how we can use few inputs for more output. That is efficiency. And for productivity, productivity means the measurement of output in relation to the input. It's not productivity is not the same as efficiency. Efficiency measures how less we can use input for more output. That is efficiency. And for productivity, we're talking about output divided by input, or output in relation to input. Is it clear?
Yes.
So one of the ways to improve or to increase economic growth is to improve the efficiency. We find a better way of doing it is like using the case continuous improvement. We continue to improve on our production method until waste stops and quality improves further. Is it clear?
Yes.
Education and training. Another way to increase economic growth or to witness economic growth is through education and training. He said an economy can boost the productive potential of a nation by education and training the population. A country's economy becomes more productive as the proportion of educated workers increases. This is because educated workers can more efficiently carry out tasks that require reading and writing, analysis, evaluation, communication, and critical thinking. However, a country has to find the right balance between academic and vocational education. Another way to witness or to improve or to increase economic growth is through education and training. Because when you train people, or education give people the flexibility to learn, to unlearn, to relearn. So that means you're going to have the ability to learn new things, to find a better way of doing things. That's what education will do. And training will improve your skills. So with excuse me, with training and education, you get better, then things can become better. Is it clear? Another reasons why we can have economic growth is new resources. For new resources, these are when you discover new resources. Like, oh, there's discovery of oil in Tahuna. There was no oil in Tahuna before, but now there's oil in Tahuna. What does that imply? It implies that the petrol of Libya has increased. So one of the reasons why we could have economic growth is new resources, discovery of new resources. So when the economy discovers new resources, it adds up to the output of that economy, and then growth will increase. or growth will occur. Clear.
Yes.
So the movement is from PPC1 to PPC2. So it's always outward. Do you understand with me?
Yes.
So whenever all the resources, all the conditions I mentioned, we shift the PPC curve outward, from PPC1 to PPC2. So they could ask you, what are the factors that could shift the PPC curve outward? Training and education, advancement in technology,
Efficiency.
improved efficiency.
Improved efficiency and new resources.
New resources. Thank you. So these are the reasons why we can have an outward shift in our PPC curve. Any question about it?
No.
Finally, it is possible for the PPC to shift inward. This would represent negative economic growth. That is, where a country's productive potential actually falls, it may be caused by resources depletion. When a country runs out of natural resources such as oil or coal, the productive potential of a country can also be reduced by weather patterns. For example, dry weather might prevent some nations from meeting their agricultural production targets. Economic growth in a particular country might also be negative if large numbers of highly qualified, skilled, and experienced workers moved overseas. When when skillful workers move abroad, we call it brain drain. It is A levels anyway. It is advanced level. We call it brain drain. When people move on, a lot of people that have studied here, they are educated here, but they now work abroad. We call it brain drain. So the country they are going, it's a brain gain for them. Is it clear?
Yes.
But it's not here, it's advanced level. But I just want you to know that, okay? So we can have economic decline if resources finish. New resources increases our economy, right? So if resources are depleted, finish using, then we have economic decline. If a lot of people are moving out of our country, a lot of skilled workers are moving out of our country, our output will also reduce. It brings about economic decline. Is it clear?
Yes.
If we don't have the financial capability to advance in technology, it brings about decline in output. Are they clear?
Yes.
Any question about it? So let's do the multiple choice and we'll move on.
When to produce? No, what to produce?
What to produce? Thank you. Question 2. Which of the following might be considered a need rather than a want?
Need shelter.
Shelter, thank you. So that ends chapter 1. So our next class will be in chapter 2.